We are live, guys. We are live. April 9th, Sunday, April 9th, for another weekly market outlook. We're going to go ahead and check out some charts, check out some news, talk some mindset, and just prepare for the week as a whole when it comes to the charts. I mean, I literally just said this on my Twitter because there's so many traders that they don't prepare for the week. They just show up to the week when it's time to trade or time to push a button. That's not going to work for anybody. I mean, it's just not, right? I mean, they say majority of traders are unsuccessful in the markets, and I think one of the number one reasons is definitely emotions, but one of those reasons is definitely lack of preparation, right? So we're gonna, go ahead and start off, right? Of course, looking at the charts. But I think that, well, as usual, actually, before the charts, we're going to start off with the news, right? I always love to check out the news and just see what type of a week we got coming up. I know we got a couple people who's celebrating holidays and, tapped out for the day, and that's okay. Friday was Good Friday. Today, today is Sunday, but Monday is actually Easter. So Monday is Easter, intriguingly enough. And so that means the banks will be closed. Banks will be closed in Germany, United Kingdom, Switzerland. So basically Europe, London, Australia, United States of America. It looks like the U.S. banks are not closed. That's interesting. So yeah, it looks like U.S. banks are not closed today, but yeah, European banks, South Africa, the pound, they're all closed tomorrow. Well, going into today. So probably will be a rather slow day. Friday was extremely, non-active, pretty much. I mean, pretty much the whole world was closed on Friday. Right? So there's that. Now going into the week, as far as red folder news, right? As far as high impact news goes, we got some U.S. dollar news to look out for on Tuesday. That usually causes the short term energy outlook. Usually has a lot going on with the indices typically respond to that very volatilely. So we'll go ahead and see what's going on Tuesday, especially NAS. Now, one thing to definitely look out for, we had non-farm payroll last week, NFP, and going into this week, we have CPI, right? So definitely want to be aware of CPI dropping on Wednesday. It's expected that inflation is going to be coming out lower, right? That inflation is decreasing is the expectation. And we'll see about that, right? We got GBP news on Wednesday as well, CAD, and then oh wow, so we got CPI and FOMC meeting minutes on Wednesday. So that'll be interesting. Pretty sure the PM session will be extremely active on Wednesday, so we will keep an eye out for that. Thursday, PPI on Thursday, German CPI on Thursday, as well as British GDP, gross domestic product. So pretty much how much the money, what's the, you can always click on it and read it as well. Measures the annualized change in inflation adjusted value of all goods. So pretty much how well the economy is doing, right? How well the economy is doing as far as production goes. And then on Friday, we'll be having core retail sales. So we'll pretty much after Monday, we should have a pretty active week. So we'll be aware of that. But yeah, definitely red flag on the play on Wednesday. You definitely want to be aware of what's going on Wednesday. All right, don't throw yourself into the fire. Now, checking out what's going on with the DXY. I want you guys, like, when you guys are doing your own analysis, because I don't, for me and the Traders Guild, right? Like the goal with the Traders Guild is to create an environment for professional traders, right? For, not just people to hop on and be dependent on a mentor, be dependent on a coach, or be dependent on somebody else. But really to develop that ability to analyze the markets for yourself, so I can actually surround myself with people who, keep me sharp as well. You know, the thing is, I would definitely turn my camera on, but guy got to get his hair done. So this Sunday we gonna be all screen, all voice. But for those of y'all who don't know, my name is Maverick. I've had a pleasure of being the founder of the Traders Guild. We started up last September, and I've been in this trading space for about 5 years now, right? And coaching other people for about two years, all right. And like I said at the beginning of the live, we definitely want to go ahead and start off on the macro perspective. I suggest you start every week on the monthly and just check out what's going on, right? Just get an idea for the current monthly candle and where we're at on the monthly. I mean, many people will have different opinions, but for me, I feel as though we are trading into what I call an order block. So just being aware of that, we're trading inside of this monthly order block from January. Okay, an order block just being this last down candle before this large up move. And just looking at the last few months, right? This is March, this is February, this is April. I mean, this is January, I'm sorry. And just taking into account the open of January being here and the close of January being where we've just recently rejected from, right? So we recently just rejected from the close of January, open of February. So we can go ahead and take just take a mark on that just to be aware, right? January open, and just be aware of that, right? Just be aware of that. Now, as I go ahead and go lower, right? And also, again, we're trading inside of this order block. Now, as I go ahead and go lower, all right, we can see that over the time span from that close of January, which is where we just so kindly closed last week, because now we're on the weekly time frame. So that means that this last candle here is a week's worth of candle. Okay. And in this last week, we literally closed right at that January open, and that February closed right on top of it. Um, and we can see that we gave a higher high here. February 20th, we got a higher high in the market. And just in the grand scheme of things, we're looking to see the market, for me, and I've been saying this for a few weeks now, I'm looking to see the market accelerate from this point. All right. I mean, there's a lot of talk, especially guys, like, and I'm just going to be honest, I say this all the time, right? Is that you want to observe the masses and do the opposite. Okay. You want to observe the masses and do the opposite. I literally say that all the time. And I said it going into last week. There's so many people who they absolutely believe that the markets are going to be, that the dollar's crashing, right? That's what the news is, right? The news is, oh my gosh, the dollar's crashing. Sell everything. Go buy crypto, buy stocks, buy silver, buy gold. And I mean, yes, you should definitely be dollar cost averaging into silver, right? Dollar cost averaging into gold, right? Dollar cost averaging into assets. I mean, yes, that should be happening regardless. But I just want you to really think about how many times the news has ever warned the people about something and it really happened, right? Like, how many times did the news say you should be buying crypto, you should be buying stocks, and things actually went the direction that they were talking about, right? Or how many times has the news ever said, sell everything, things are going bad, and it worked, right? It's the same thing for the dollar. The dollar itself is an asset, right? So even on just a macro scale, right? Even on just the like what's going on in the markets wise, or in the news, in the media wise, right? We can be aware that like, come on, like they not gonna just tell us what's going on, and make sure that we're prepared for it. Okay. So yes, also on a weekly time frame, we can see, yep, we traded into that order block. We swept underneath these lows, right? Swept underneath these lows, didn't come all the way down below this candle. I don't think we need to, right? We closed underneath the opens of them, the body where the majority of volume was anyway. We swept underneath there after forming this higher high. So I'm still of that bullish intent on the dollar, right? I'm still looking to see that. Now, last week we did trade into this gap, right? Did trade into this gap. Um, and it was right here, right? Traded into that gap there and actually gapped into that gap. And then we saw a lot of bullish price action out of that area on the daily time frame. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and going today. We're going into today now. All bullish in a days in a row. Even without looking at any technical structure or anything of that nature, when I'm looking at this, it just catches my attention because I just like to pay attention to, on top of like the institutional concepts, smart money concepts, on top of the market structure, price action, delivery, and all those things. For me, I'm paying attention as well to the last time that we had multiple bullish days in a row, right? I mean, it's been a while, right? I mean, the market since about March 7th, we've been having just bearishness, right? But it wasn't since the market was trending upwards that we had multiple bullish days in a row, such as this one, right? Back in February, and we formed those highs, bullish days, multiple bullish days in a row. Same thing. We dropped down here into this same area, into this same level, right? Into this same order block. Well, previously they actually had swept these lows over here, and we saw them accelerate again, 3 bullish days in a row, right? One, two, three, one, two, three, and we saw them accelerate out there. So I think this is a very extreme zone that we're trading into, or that we have traded into, and I'm just hunting the move out of this zone. Now, I could be wrong about us being bullish, but that's why I don't marry my bias. But as far as I'm concerned, we're still like that's still the type of time we got going on, and we are trading again. Like I said, inside of this order block, even on a daily time frame, we can see this order block right here, right? That big down candle before the market actually traded higher. Bang, right? And I'm still mastering everything, but it's very clear to see, right? You should be able to clearly see that, right? So we traded into this order block. Literally in the middle of this order block was this gap from when the market surged higher, and that's where we just traded into. All right. So excuse me. All right. So I'm just paying attention to different things like that. Now, hmm I'm gonna annotate the open of the month of March. Right, March open was here. Let's go ahead and mark that with this low right here. This was the open of March. Top of this candle. That was the open of March. March open. And that was not actually January open. That was January close that we should have labeled here. Yeah, this right here is February open, January close. Bang. All right, so that was February open, January close that we just traded into. This is March's open up here. And then lastly, let me mark April's open. All right, the open of April was right there. Bang, April open. All right. And as I drop down into the 4 hour, we have been bearish since, since the open of March, right? Open of March, we had a low. They gave us a lower low, left two double bottoms here, draw on liquidity. We saw them go ahead, give the high, high of the year. And then they literally obliterated that, right? Came lower. And when this was happening, we were targeting this order block here, right? We were targeting this gap. We were targeting trading into this. Okay, that's what we wanted to see them do. And of course, as we can see, that's where we have traded into, right? So you can see, all right? So we see that they went ahead and traded lower, right? Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Now, what I want to pay attention to now is I want to start to see us do exactly what's happening right now, right? I want to start to see higher high, higher low out of this area. I want to start to see a reversal pattern start to play out. Now, of course, I have to, pay attention, but check it out. This blue line here, okay, that blue line is the gap that we had marked off on the daily time frame here, okay? That's that blue box. That blue box is the gap. I go down to the 4-hour time frame and I can see that we go down to the lower time frame on the 4-hour and I can see that we on last week, right? Because this was last week here. Yeah, we're in April 9th now. So let me actually go ahead and mark off last week. And sometimes that's what you gotta do, guys. You gotta politic with the charts. I mean, I've looked at a couple pairs today, and I looked at the dollar today and everything like that, but I haven't really sat like I'm doing it with you guys right now. Like this is literally what my weekly analysis look like. This is what it looks like when I'm analyzing my bias at the top of the week. So last week we saw the market trade higher at the beginning of the week. We dropped down on Tuesday, gave the low of the week on Tuesday, right? And then Wednesday morning, we saw them sweep the low of the week, right? And then we saw a massive acceleration out of that area. Now on Tuesday, this was that order block on Tuesday. Okay? This is where I guess you would say that last down candle, right? Last down candle on Tuesday, and I'm gonna include the gap, right? I'm gonna include that gap right there, right? But that last down candle, and we can see, boom, they got up above it. Where did they trade right back into? The order block, right? On this candle here, this 4-hour candle right here. We saw them get up out of there, boom, traded back into that order block. What this starts to show me is that the big boys are coming into the market, right? That's what I'm starting to see. I'm starting to see, okay, the big boys are coming into the market, and you want to remember, especially maybe as a beginner trader, or if you're learning institutional concepts, smart money, things of that nature, the whole idea is that you want to be on the side of the big money, okay? Big money is going to be protecting their positions, and therefore if you get in on the right side with them, then at the end of the day you'll be in a better position when it comes to trading. All right, so boom, we saw April 3 a.m. and time is very important. This was 3 a.m. right before London session open, or at London session open, and we can see they accelerated out, traded back into it, and then they took off. And then boom, 7 a.m. New York open, they did again what? Traded below, swept those lows, came right into that order block, and then we saw an aggressive move out, right? And that was Wednesday, and then we closed out the week in a bit of a consolidation, and they left these two order blocks here, right? And really we can go based off of this area in general. Here, this down candle was higher than this down candle over here. So yeah, this is order block, but if you're more comfortable with it, you can use this one. It's fine. All right. The idea is this is where, again, you can see that when Friday hit, I guess this was Friday at 3 p.m. So this was after NFP, because NFP was on Friday, but Friday was also a holiday. So ain't get too much action. Whenever you see stuff like this, what I've been taught is, if we closed out the week with very small volume, especially on a day like NFP, I'm going to be honest, I expect a very big range this week, because we had a holiday on Friday, so the markets were slow. We had a holiday on Monday, so the markets were slow, are going to be slow tomorrow, right? But going into the week now, I expect a big range. I expect big movements, okay? So boom, we traded back into this order block on Friday, and also traded below that February open, right? Traded right below it, and then we saw the market go ahead and take off from there. Okay, so now starting off this week, that's what I'm expecting on the dollar, right? I'm expecting to see the dollar accelerate to the top of this. As you would see, this is pretty much like April's open was here. Yeah, Right. Yep. April's open was there. So I'm looking to see the market accelerate to that area. And given that I'm expecting bullishness, I want to see us after accelerating into this area. I want to see us maybe get a floor, maybe come back into this order block because this down candle, once they accelerate higher, this is going to be an order block, right? Right here, right? So I'm going to want to see the market get up above that, trade back into that zone, and see if we can get some bullishness out of here. If that fails, right? If that fails, if we fail to get past this area, then you can see that this would be, I guess you would say it would be kind of a continuation pattern to the downside because we have a lower low here, and then this would be more of that lower high. But check it out. I don't expect it, man. I don't expect it. Also pay attention, right? We got equal highs here, right? Equal highs here. These are about triple tops, right? So we also have a large amount of liquidity, right? Sitting above that zone, right? So I definitely expect bullish price action going in tomorrow, Tuesday. Like I said, tomorrow's not a U.S. holiday, but it's a holiday for the rest of the world. So we'll see, or for the rest of these European countries. So we'll see how much volume we get today. But yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see us go ahead and draw on this liquidity, push higher, and see bullish price action. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, coming up out of this area. All right, so that's what I expect on the dollar. That's what I expect on the dollar. Yeah, man, this is some good old price action. Now, the one thing that I'm kind of paying attention to, as you could say, is these areas here, right, getting taken before we trade higher. So that's something that I'll say. Let me put my eye there, right? Keep an eye on those lows, right? These lows here. Let me put a marker, sell side liquidity right here, right? Sell side liquidity there. But yes, now that we on the 1 hour, you can see, right? Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, right? Higher lows, we saw them sweep back into it, higher low. So from here, I would expect to see that higher high attack on this draw on liquidity. So if Monday is gonna have volume, or even going into Tuesday, if Monday don't have too much volume, bullish dollar. Now from dollar, I want to take a look at good old Goldilocks. Good old Goldilocks, right? And gold and the dollar typically move inverse to each other, right? Like gold is like one of my favorite pairs. It was like the first pair I ever blew an account on. Excuse me. So me and gold, we got a special relationship. Now, pulling up gold on the monthly time frame, we're at all-time highs. I'm just letting y'all know, like we are about to attack all-time highs. The all-time highs on gold are here. All-time highs on gold was 2070. Yeah, about 2072. I remember when we traded into that, right? And there's a liquidity above those highs. Now, quick technical break, and we just think about gold on a macro level, on a fundamental level, right? On a fundamental level with gold, the thing is this. Normally, the dollar and gold are negatively correlated. They're inversely correlated, which means that if the dollar is going up, then gold typically will be going down. And if the dollar is going down, then typically gold will be going up, right? But with what's going on right now, like I've spoken about last week as well, with what's going on right now, you really just got to be aware that the silver is used for bullets and for metals and things of that nature that we need for war, right? Gold is also used for these sort of things, especially batteries. And, the way war is fought in today's world is not just with lead, and bullets. It's fought with technology. It's fought with batteries. It's fought with, electronics and things of that nature that take gold to be created and fueled, and as well as gold being a safe haven currency. So when things are not going the best, as you can see, people are going to want to start moving their assets over the gold. So with that being said, you've seen all these countries talking about the gold standard or having their currencies backed by gold. I mean, it sounds good, but we'll still keep in mind that we are going into that type of a period. So I wouldn't be surprised to, even if we see the dollar continue to skyrocket and move higher, I wouldn't be surprised to see gold move higher along with it. Okay. Now, looking at the monthly time frame on gold, and just looking at the last few months, I'll go ahead and mark off January was here. And just looking at the last bearish candle in this uptrend, right? Looking at the last bearish candle, which was here. This was our last bearish candle. This one, February 1st. That was our last bearish candle. So that is our order block, right? That's the top of our order block. And that was the open of February as well. So we're going to say February open, and we're going to put order block, right? Order blocks are important because we like to execute, right? We like to trade out of, we like to trade when the market is trading into order blocks. A monthly order block, that's an extremely strong key level. You feel me? Like, that's an extremely strong area for us to pay attention to. I hope y'all, can hear me. Just let me know if it's a little laggy. Let me check the chat. Good with it. This the guild, man. This the guild. You feel me? This the guild. Let me know if y'all got any questions in the chat. Now going down to the weekly time frame. And I want to wipe all this stuff off my chart. So let me start over. We'll mark the highs on gold. Y'all let me know. Feb open, monthly order block. Bang. All right. And this is what that looks like on the weekly time frame. All right. I would love to see, all right, gold go ahead and trade into that order block, and see us actually go ahead and sweep these lows here from the end of March, beginning of April. And I'm also going to take into notice the close of March here / the open of April. All right. All right. Also going to take that into account. All right. Boom. I don't think we're going to come all the way down there, but it's cool. February open and January close. All right, cool. All right. So 2 key levels, like, check it out. So we got March open, we got February close. Bullish market, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And alongside the dollar here, let's match the dates, right? We had a new high formed February 1st, right? February 1st, we had a new higher high on gold. And at the end of February, we had a higher low, right? So higher high, higher low. On the dollar, we can see at the end of February, we were getting a low, right? But it wasn't, I guess you would say it was a lower low, right? It was lower than this low. But then coming into the end of February, we had a higher high, right? So higher high here. And on gold, a higher low, right? And that's not how it's supposed to, how it's supposed to be. Typically, if the dollar is forming a higher high or a higher, yes, if the dollar is giving a higher high, then we would want to see a lower low on gold, right? Because they're inversely correlated. But this is what I was talking about, right? I'm not surprised actually to see that not happening, right? We had a higher low here, and then going into the end of March, right? April open, again, another higher low and a higher high here. And then looking at the dollar, we have a higher low, right? Because I mean, as of right now, we haven't broken this low. So this here, this close here wicked these lows, but it ended up being a higher low. So the dollar and gold both formed higher lows at the end of that month. So we're starting to see these two start to correlate with each other, but I just explained that's not super weird. Now, this could also be another sign. This could also serve as a sign, excuse me, that smart money is actively trading in these markets, that the big money is actively trading in this market. And we could see a potential reversal on gold. But like I said, based on the situation and the circumstances of what's going on, if smart money is trading in this market right now, I just wouldn't be surprised for it to be in buys, right? Just because of what's going on, in the world, what's going on with the news, everything of that nature. So just be aware that it is a very volatile time, a very interesting time to be a gold trader. All right. And that's coming from a gold trader. Okay. So with that being said, like I said, I want to pay attention to if we trade back below these zones, below these lows. I do want to pay attention to that as a potential entry area on gold. So we'll see what the week brings us. Now, but yeah, as of right now, I wouldn't look to try and call the top on gold, or anything of that nature. I wouldn't even do it. Wouldn't even do it. Okay. Um, mm, mm, mm. Yeah, last week we had a bullish week on gold. Now we're starting to see them trade back again to that area. And also want to take into account the order block here. We'll keep an eye on that, right? One of the biggest things is identifying key levels at the top of the week, like we're doing right now. And then what you do throughout the week, what I do throughout the week is I pay attention to the time that we trade into these key levels, right? Because timing is really everything, all right? If, again, say, New York session 8:30 open, 9:30 open for indices open, 9:45 and around 10:30 is the times where I typically look for entries in the market, or I look for explosive moves to show themselves in the market. So I'm just identifying these zones that I'm going to be paying attention to, and what times we trade into these zones, right? On what days. So with that being said, dropping down to a 4 hour, this gray box is the order block I mapped out from the daily time frame, right? Clearly you have the order blocks down here from when February opened, right? That's what this order block is. And seeing them dip below here would definitely, that would be a good areas for buy opportunities, as long as the market doesn't start to form some type of a bearish setup. But we can pay attention to what's going on right here as well, right? Because again, check it out. Got a bearish order block right here, right, where the market was going down before they took off higher. If I drop down to the 4 hour time frame, guess what? Right, similar to what we had on the higher time frame with gold, I can see that we have sell side liquidity here, right? And let me actually map it for y'all on the daily as well, right? So this is that order block that I was looking at from the weekly, right? Boom, right? Weekly order block. And then if I go down to the daily, guess what? Again, I see my sell side liquidity, right? And I'll put daily sell side because that's daily sell side liquidity, right? So yes, I'm identifying. Okay, boom. If we're going to trade higher, what better position for us to do so from, but to trade into a monthly order block here, right? Trade into a monthly order block while sweeping daily liquidity, right? That would be a very ideal area for a buy opportunity, right? But now dropping down to the 4 hour, before we make it down there, right? I want to pay attention to how the same thing can, happen trading below these areas here. And we can see right now they're, taking a nosedive, right, towards those. And looking at it on the 4 hour time frame, just kind of give you an example of what I'm talking about. Or maybe even if I go back to the daily, no, it's too small. But right on the 4 hour time frame, we could see boom, here was an example, the last bullish candle, right? Well, this was the last bullish candle right here, but I'm just going to include this whole thing. I mean, yes, we could say that was the last bullish candle, and then I'm pretty sure we go down to the 1 hour time frame. Guess what you can see, right? On Wednesday of last week, they traded lower, they traded below it, and then they traded right back up to where? Look at that wick. Literally kissed it, right? Same thing with these, right? They accelerated up into it, kissed it, and then they started trading lower. And the target to pay attention to, of course, is the order block under here, right? Just seeing them trade to at least that level. And then that would be my zone. This is that zone that I would be looking for potential buy opportunities, unless they're, just going to plummet from there as well. But very much sure we should at least get a sharp reaction in that zone, right? See them start to price in these zones. And so those can give us amazing intraday opportunity or daily opportunity or scalping opportunities as people who are day traders. It's not like, if you're a swing trader, then yeah, you probably want to just look at this 4 hour, look at the daily, got sell side under here to pay attention to, so you can identify those. But as a day trader, these can give us promising opportunities. Now, with that being said, and then like I was going to show you guys, even if I don't go based off this being the last bullish candle, even if you look at right here, right, all the way down there, right, this being that bullish push up, they traded lower on the 4 hour and they traded right back into what? Right here. It's that order block, right? And then we saw them literally just melt off the face of the earth, right? Since Thursday, that's been about a 300 pip drop, right? Since Thursday. So yeah, just definitely being aware of now that same thing, that same concept of how we traded into that order block and we dropped. And mind you, this is in a bullish trend. Like the market's in a bullish trend right now, and it still respected that order block, right? Dropped below the order block, came up to it, rejected, started falling off. Okay, so same thing is what we're looking for just on these order blocks here on a daily time frame. On top of that, you got to remember we're in a bullish trend, right? So until that trend changes, that is a very significant area for me. And like I said, going down to the 4 hour and the 1 hour, we can see that this, here is a similar area, right? Boom, last down candle before the up move, right? This was the last down move before the up move. So this is significant to me. This area is significant to me. And then, like I pointed out, the daily order block being here, last down move before the up move. And then when I went down to the lower time frame, I just identified, okay, boom, we got some sell side liquidity here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them go ahead and, yes, trade into this area, but really maybe even sweep these lows. But that's why you want to go ahead and pay attention as the market is trading there on a live basis, right? Because what matters most? Time, right? Time is the time that we trade into these prices. So that's why I like I said, on weekly outlook, take some of these numbers, take some of these zones, or take some of these concepts and go apply it on your own chart, right? Just and look for these, pay attention to these zones, pay attention to these prices as we trade into these areas, man. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting week, but this will definitely be one of the harder setups, especially because we're at all-time highs, type of zones. When it comes to gold, it's a lot less information for you to go off of. But yeah, that's my thoughts on gold. I think we'll continue trading higher, regardless of the fact that dollar my bias is for the dollar to continue to trade higher because of like what I said. We got so much fundamental things going on. So just be aware of that, right? Be aware of that. But with that being said, checking out US 30, right? Checking out US 30. It's funny because I had marked up a setup on US 30 Friday. Yeah, I had marked up seeing them trade into this and then to see them trade away. And like the market I didn't realize the market was like closed on Friday. I wasn't gonna really take the trade, but like I didn't expect for them to freeze, right? It was right here. Yeah, it was literally a little scalp. And then I'll go back up to the higher time frame, right? But it was literally a scalp and the market literally froze there. I don't even think, yeah, so you can see if you look at my the time at the bottom down here, you can see. So 9:13, haha, 9:13 on Friday, 9:13 a.m., 9:14, it went into my entry and then the market closed. It just stopped. But then opening up today, of course, they just absolutely obliterated that. But I wouldn't have taken, of course, I wasn't participating because I don't trade for real. I'm not going to be sitting here looking at the charts on Sunday at 7 p.m. That's not what I was doing with my life. But it played out. It's just crazy because I didn't expect the markets to literally like just shut down on Friday, like just in my face like that. So you got to be aware. Now, the US 30, I'm going to take a look at US 30 over NAS for tonight. But I mean, US 30 is kind of like, it's kind of like the base current, the base, I don't want to say base currency, it's the base asset when it comes to indices, right? So it's always just like I look at the dollar, right? Because like I told you at the beginning, right? I'll start off on looking at the news, and then I'm gonna start off on the dollar every single week. That's how I'm gonna start my week off, right? And if you're primarily an indices trader, it's the same thing for indices. Okay. Now with US 30, I expect a inverse correlation with the dollar, right? So looking at indices, we can see. Let's just look at the last couple of months. All right, let's look at the last couple of months. Same thing. This right here was January, right? And we can see that actually on a monthly, you can see that US 30, even though we've had surges going higher, and we had this major surge going higher, and then we had a bullish month in January and a bullish month in March. It's starting to trend lower on a higher time frame, right? We have a lower low here, right? And this could be considered a lower high. Now, of course, you would want to pay attention to this, right? How they traded into this bearish order block, and they did, right? But then they went ahead and they traded what? Higher into the bullish order block, right? Which was right here. Bang, right? So we saw them come, consolidate, attack this, trade higher, come back down again, trade higher, right? And literally we haven't been able to really break this order block, or if you want to count up there as the order block, right? Boom, like that kind of even higher up. And guess what? It was a very clean attack on that order block and then trade away. So looking at since January has started, which was the beginning of this year, this was the open of January here. All right, so I'm gonna map that out. January open, monthly order block. All right, keep that in mind. And where did we trade January? We opened here. We traded higher up to 34.37, just about 34.45. And then February opened, major drop down, right? Turning this into an order block itself, right? And then boom, again, March opens up at the low, 32.16. We trade back up into what? Into the order block, right? So if I were to compare this with the dollar, it's the opposite, right? It's the opposite. Okay. We can see that this was January's candle. We had bullish, and then we traded it back into the order block, right? And I want to see that continuation. And then when I look at US 30, we have bearish, and then we traded back into the order block. And all right, so they're correlating, all right. You just got to pay attention, right? I know 913 is crazy. You got to let it go though. We just go let it go. All right. So so with that being said, yeah, I'm expecting I'm expecting aggression out of this area. And so with that being said, this is that last order block, and it's they did trade back here, right, in March. Now that's something I was being aware of. That we did trade back into this order block from September here in March, and we did reject, right? But we rejected right back into what? Into this order block. Like this is just a higher time version of consolidation, guys, right? So at this point, I'll leave that. I'm not gonna say I'll leave it alone, but at this point, I want to pay attention as well, right, to this order block down here from 2020, October 2020. Right, and I want to pay attention to this monthly sell side liquidity. All right, I want to pay attention to that. All right. I want to pay attention to that monthly sell side liquidity because that for sure is that's what we got sitting under there. Okay. Now, if I go down to the weekly time frame now, okay, we can see what this was January, lower low, right? A lower high, right? Now, as of right now, this bullish move higher is not over, but we did get a lower low here, all right, in the middle of nothing, right? In the middle of nothing, we got this lower low here. Um, Now, of course, we can pay attention to the fact that we had what this order block here that was traded into here. They accelerated higher, as we said. And then we can see that they kind of just gave like this just weird consolidation. Like the markets weren't the prettiest in January. It was a bit choppy. And I want this to be smaller because it's kind of taking up a lot of space right now. Right? But yeah, we had a bit of choppiness. I mean, look at this. This was literally 3 weeks in a row where price didn't move. Now, that was probably one of the worst things to trade. I'm just be honest, right? Just 3 weeks in a row where price opened and closed relatively in literally the same exact place. But paying attention to it, our last bullish order block. Let me go back to my monthly one time. I got a little bit lost. Okay, yeah. So that is the January open, our monthly order block. And on the weekly time frame, we can see we did trade above it, man. We did trade above it, but I don't trust them. I don't trust them, right? Let's see. Boom. We have that order block there on the weekly time frame, and that's exactly where last week traded up into it and rejected away. So I'm gonna go down to the lower time frame and I'm gonna look for signs of potential reversal because let's before I do that, let me compare this to the dollar, right? Because if I see something called divergence, like remember the dollar was good, Lamario, right? Remember the dollar is supposed to be inverse to indices, right? To US 30. It's supposed to be inverse. So let's see what it's looking like, right? So this was January. We had a higher high in January, right? Or a high in January, I'm gonna say. We had a low March 13th. We had a lower low. And then April now, we're seeing them potentially give us a lower high, right? Now, if I go down to the weekly on the dollar, okay, all right, on the dollar, let me put these away real quick. All right, so yeah, looking at the dollar, all right, so January 23rd, and I can actually go ahead and we can go do a dual thing. Bang. Weekly. And we can go ahead and put these things side by side just like this. All right, cool. Yeah, I want them to line up almost perfectly. Right there. All right. So, we have here on US 30, we had this high that was formed. And this is at the same time that the dollar gave us this low, right? And the end of January, they also swept the low from May, I believe it was May 2022 that they swept right here. All right. And then boom, the dollar gave us that higher high, right? Higher high here. And then we saw US 30 give us a lower low right around that same area, right? So we got a lower low on US 30, we got a higher high on the dollar, right? And then right now we were getting a potential lower high, I'm sorry, on US 30 while we're getting a potential higher low on the dollar. All right, so whenever we see these correlating assets or inversely correlating assets doing what they're supposed to do, right, which is correlating with each other, but what we would expect is a continuation of the trend. And the trend that I'm seeing here, right, is again, like I said, low, high, potential higher low, right? The sweep here, right? Low, high, well, I'm sorry, high, low, potential lower high right here. Let's drop down to the daily, right? Let's see if they doing anything funky on a daily, right? And let me tell you guys what I'm looking for, right? What I'm looking for is a divergence, right? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a potential divergence, right? Because if they are diverging, which means that if they're doing the same thing, then I can expect potential reversals. And that's why I'm kind of looking to get evidence of, right? This is the stuff I do on a Sunday night by myself. I'm just being honest, right? This is what I do. It's what I do. Sunday nights, it's me and the charts, man. It's me and the charts. All right, so boom. So this was the beginning of January. We had a higher high. We had a higher low. We had a lower high while the dollar created a higher high. And then we had a lower low, dollar created a higher high, and then we had a lower high, dollar created a higher high. That ain't supposed to go down, right? So we had a higher high on the dollar. If we get a higher high on the dollar, I'm expecting, a lower low on US 30. Okay, cool. So lower low, lower high. So yeah, we expecting a continuation, guys. I'm expecting US 30 to go ahead and trade lower, not reverse and go higher. That's not what I would expect here. Let me see. Right here on the 16th of March, we had US 30 give us a lower low, and we had the dollar give us a lower high here on the 16th of March. Excuse me. And then that is when we did get an acceleration, right? We did get an acceleration on the dollar. And then last Monday, we had a higher high here, right? Higher high on US 30. And last Monday, we got a lower high on the dollar, right? So that is not what we would want to see, right? If the dollar is giving us a lower high, then I would expect to get a higher low, right? On US 30. I would expect to get a higher low. And I guess you can kind of argue that that's what's going on. But I would pay attention this week, guys. Like I said, last week, it got a little funky last week and a little difficult for us to be able to tell what's going on, but you guys can see what's going on, right? I think we're gonna go ahead and see that continuation. So let's go ahead and pay attention to. I'm gonna go ahead and bring us back to one screen because there's a lot going on the screen right now. US 30, right? And so here's what I want to pay attention to. Pay attention to my order blocks, right? The last order block from where we're at right now, here, right? That's the last bullish order block. Oh, snap. I forgot I was already marked on there. So yeah, there we go. Right. So that was our last bullish order block here. That's where we just traded into. So I want to go ahead and see going into this week, going into CPI. I want to go ahead and see, are we going to see US 30 start to attack this imbalance here? Now that we've went ahead and traded into this order block on the bullish side, right? So we have a lower low. We saw them attack this high here. So right here, this was daily buy side liquidity. Okay. Now that they've went ahead and attacked that daily buy side liquidity, and we have correlation with the dollar on a higher time frame, I'm looking for a continuation, right? I'm looking to see this thing continue to trade lower. I'm not expecting for this thing to reverse and turn around and go higher. That ain't what I'm seeing. You feel me? I'm looking to see this thing continue. So now that we went ahead and traded above this buy side liquidity straight into this order block on lower time frames going into tomorrow, especially because the dollar is not closed tomorrow. It's not a US bank holiday tomorrow. Oh yeah, I want to go ahead and see us trade lower. Shoot, man. Sometimes it's like it's the Sunday, like on a Sunday though. They gonna do this on a Sunday for real? That would be crazy, wouldn't it? But yes, so boom, we traded up into that order block, swept liquidity here, and then what did we get? Massive bearish movement. Come on, guys, right? Massive bearish movement. Who's that? Right? Who's that? That's the big money, right? That's big money. If you actually paying attention, man, drop big money in the YouTube chat, right? Drop big money, right? That's big money coming into the markets, right? Starting to price in positions, okay? Sneak positions in. You got to remember, big money, they can't big money can't just dump all their money into a position. They can't just dump all their money into the markets, right? They have to price into that thing. They gotta put a little bit at a time. Put a little bit at a time. I don't know if you guys ever tried to withdraw, a couple $1,000, 10,000, $20,000 from the bank, but they don't like when you do that all at one time. They don't like to do that. They like to price in. So now that we've seen them go ahead and got that, and then we went ahead and traded it on a lower time frame. Now look, well, not, I didn't even need to go to a lower time frame, but the same thing, right? Boom, we got this order block here, and what did they do? They swept these highs, traded into that order block, and and now we're, let's say that let's say that we've already traded down into this order block here. Okay, you can see that here, right? Boom, traded into it. We traded back higher into that one, right? So of course I would want to see them attack here, minimum, right? Minimum into, I'm gonna use something different than a line. I got a lot of lines here, right? But minimum, I would want to see them attack there. But just remember, this monthly January order block is where I want to see them trade to. Let's go ahead and pull it up, right? I want to see them break past that open that they had here, because we already had the lower low. We traded back up into the order block. I want to see them trade past that order block, at least into down here. But remember, this sell side liquidity is what I want to see them attack. Now, this is clearly the monthly time frame, so it ain't gonna happen tomorrow, right? But anything, like, until we get there, like, the reason the higher time frame is so important, guys, is because once we see this, right? Once you see this and you see that, okay, boom, we're seeing the reversal pattern play out up here. That means that between here and here, I'm only going to be looking for sell opportunities. There's going to be plenty of buy opportunities, but between here, where the market's at right now, and this low, which is on the monthly time frame, the order block from October that I highlighted, okay, boom, right down here, right? This is the order block from October 2020 down here, right? Right here. Until we get there, once this continuation pattern starts, I'm catching sells all the way down, right? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see sells all the way down. And here's the thing, guys. I've been trading for 5 years. I'm willing to be wrong. One thing I'm not willing to be, though, I'm not willing to be wrong with everybody else. Right? I'm not willing to, I'm just not. I observe the masses and I do the opposite. That's just how I trade, and it's the way I'll continue to trade. Okay. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a Sunday night. So I don't want to get active in this thing, but the old version of me would just go ahead and, look for the sell opportunities already. You feel me? Again, you just see the way that we traded above these highs. This is what you're looking for, right? You're looking for a trade into an order block like that, sweep of buy side liquidity. After that, it's all fair game, right? So we'll see what's going on. Like, I'm gonna allow the markets to do their thing tonight, but going into New York session tomorrow, I'm gonna be keeping my eye on even this order block that just formed right now, because the hourly candle for 11 o'clock just opened, and guess what? This was our last bullish order block here. All right. If you're a daredevil, right? If you're a daredevil, okay, you could always, or just tape read, right? Just tape read what I'm saying, right? Tape read means you don't have to take a trade, right? But just pay attention to US 30 on the hourly time frame. Pay attention to the order block they just formed on Sunday morning, okay? And the week just started up here. This was the weekly open. Excuse me. And see how the market responds when they trade back up into this order block. All right, just see how the market responds once they trade back up into that, and looking for them to attack this. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. All right. So that's US 30, and of course that means, that's along with Nasdaq and, SPX 500. It's the same thing, right? I'm looking for them to correlate with that. But I'm not gonna go into all of them right tonight. Me and the team will definitely be on here tomorrow, and going into the week. But yeah, guys, Yeah, sauciness, man, sauciness. And indices do have they are known to go, go crazy on a Sunday night. But I'm gonna maintain my, I'm gonna maintain my discipline. I'm gonna maintain my discipline. All right. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for on U30, right? Even on the 15-minute time frame, man, oh man. All right, even on the 15-minute time frame, look at how we trade back up into this order block mitigation candle. All right. Now, interestingly enough, even on the 15-minute time frame, we had this last order block here, right here. And they traded right up to it, and then we had aggressive movement away, right? Leaving this now as an order block. So the type of time that I'll be looking at is, okay, boom, seeing something like that and seeing them trade, to those lows, at least 1 to 2, right? At least 1 to 2, something like that. So yeah, that's what we got going on with them now. USDJPY, right? USDJPY, right? USDJPY. I kind of don't want to delete my charts. This is the one I did do today, right? This is the one I did do today. And I'll wipe my charts for y'all, man. I'll wipe my charts for y'all. You know what? No, I won't wipe my charts for y'all. We're gonna pull up a different one. Okay. Yeah, we'll do FXCM monthly time frame. Man, I know, man. The thing about discipline, man. This thing about discipline is crazy. It's like once you got it, once you got the superpowers, you be just wanting to use the superpowers. You feel me? You be wanting to use them things. But all right, so USDJPY monthly time frame, similar vibe to the dollar. Of course, right? I'm looking for this asset to correlate with the dollar. So if you think I think the dollar's gonna bounce, what you think I think UJ is gonna do? I think UJ is going to the money. Right? I think UJ is gonna trade higher. Higher high, higher low, higher high. Okay, higher low. Where we at right now? Again, looking at January open, right? I'm just looking to show you guys the importance of the higher time frame, and I don't, you guys let me know if you're picking up what I'm putting down, but you can learn so much just from 3 candles on the higher time frame. I haven't really spent too much time below, the 15, below the on the 15-minute. I haven't spent too much time, below the 4 hour or anything like that. Maybe on like when we just hopped on US 30 and it was trying to tempt me, I did. But in general, I haven't, right? I've just been looking at these higher time frames and mapping out these key levels, right? Where months open, where months closed, order blocks and things of that nature. All right. So similar time, right? Similar time for USDJPY, bullish market, right? Since last year, bullish, right? Higher highs, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? And now, of course, we've seen them. Of course, we've seen them trade into these order blocks over here, right? We've seen them trade down into this order block, gave us a higher high, and then what was our most recent order block? The one from January, just like the dollar, just like the rest of them. Okay, January was a very significant. Boom. And this one's from no, that's not. Right, boom. So the open of January was here. And that is a monthly order block. All right, this is the monthly order block right here. Hey man, if y'all with me, if y'all see what's going on, just go ahead and leave some likes on the video, right? Leave some likes on the video. It definitely helps the guild, helps us go ahead and get out to more people. Cause I'm not gonna lie, we think about being stingy, man. We think about being stingy. So if y'all want these things to stay on YouTube, y'all leave some likes on the video. Now check this out. Order block here, January, acceleration higher, March, traded into the order block, aggressive move higher. Now, between this order block here and this high, this is that last bullish order block. Safest place you could pay attention to, right? October, a very key month, right? But safest place you could pay attention to is this last order block before this one. Okay, so this is the last order block from where we are right now, and before that one, the last order block that was the opposite of it was up here. Pay attention, right? So I'm gonna pay attention to that, right? Is that a bullish? I don't know. What's that? October. Okay. So yes, we saw them trade into this. I want to start seeing us trade away, right? I want to start to see um, those that price action, that higher highs, higher lows. And we can see this right here was the open of February. So I'm gonna map that out, right? And I'm kind of I just identify, you know, the past couple of months, right? Open and close, right? Especially at the beginning of the year. February. I'm not spelling it wrong. I don't know why they're doing me that way. All right, but that was February open. March open was here. All right. And the month we're on right now, I'm just going to map out the high. It sounds like my dogs are doing something they're not supposed to do. It sounds like my dogs are doing something they're not supposed to do, but it's okay. We on the charts. All right. So I'm trying to make this pretty. All right. So check it out. Here is that January order block, January open, right here is where January opened. We can see that we got a higher high, higher low, higher high. They traded back into what? This order block here from February, but even more importantly, they traded right back into that January order block before we got a what? Bullish engulfing, right? Out of that area, okay? They also traded right below what? February's open. Like, this is the reason that I'll pay attention to the opens, the closes, the highs of each of these months, right? Shout out to Michael himself. You feel me? Now, the thing is that we did here, March 20th, we traded into the order block from January on the monthly, but we also went ahead and swept that February open, right? And then we got a bullish engulfing out of there, okay? And we got that on a lower time frame. This is going to be a higher high, right? On a lower time frame, that's a higher high. And then we saw them trade back into what? That order block, the same order block that swept February and traded into January order block. We saw them trade right back into it right here. Bang, right? Bang, right there. I think I should map out April's open low key. Okay. And this is I'm not gonna stay on my chart all week, but it's just good for when I'm mapping out my bias. You feel me? So we on the weekly. Let's drop to the daily. All right. So now you can kind of see on this lower time frame that boom, we gave that higher high, higher low, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, and then we went into this retracement phase, right? Ugly gap here, drop down, and then this is where you guys saw they traded down back into this order block, swept that February open, and then we get a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low than here, back into what? This order block from March, right? They traded right back into that order block. and then they accelerated away from it. Right now, we are right now trading at the order block from March 31st. So I wouldn't be surprised to see potentially a retracement from here, but back into where, Maverick? Where could they trade back into? Right? Maybe this very same this order block here from what's this, April 5th, and then going back to that weekly time frame, you can see that it's the top of that March 20th order block that we traded down into, and then we accelerated excessively. Right now, going back to the daily, right, that same area from March 20th right here, right, that same order block from March 20th that they already wicked into and traded away from, we can kind of see that's right in the same area as this last order block from Wednesday, April 5th, right? And they went ahead and accelerated higher, engulfing candle. The next candle opened up, traded back into the order block, and then we got acceleration out of that. And now we're trading aggressively into this one here, this on the other side. Okay. So that's kind of I guess you could say that's kind of like the range that we're trading in right now. Now last week was here, right? Last week was all bearish, literally. Like the week opened up right here and literally fell the whole week pretty much, and then we got this pullback at the end of the week, profit taking. Um hmm, let's drop to the 4 hour. Right? I'm bullish on UJ. My question is just figuring out from where they'll get that momentum to trade higher. And this is where time and price comes into play for me. You feel me? For me at my skill level where I'm at. This is where the time and the price, the time that we hit a certain price becomes extremely important. Now, going back to my other UJ chart real quick, now you can kind of get an idea for this is that area that I was looking to see them trade into. And you can see they did open up today and spike just in above my alert, and start accelerating higher. So this will be interesting going into tomorrow, whether I'll see them trade above April open, trade up to this high where I have my magnet. I feel like that's the buy side would definitely be drawing price up there, to these double tops, into the higher time frame order blocks and everything of that nature. However, the question is just going into tomorrow, are we just going to accelerate into this, or will I get that pullback that I want to see where they trade back into this order block from April 5th on the daily time frame? Okay, which is here, right? This is that order block from April 5th. And I guess I'm being a little greedy, wanting them to come below it. So I'll be aware of that, I'll be aware of my greed, wanting to see them come too low. Because it very much could be that we only see them trade right into this order block here. And they kind of already did take that on Thursday, this Thursday here, where they traded into it here, gave that higher high, higher low, higher high. And then we saw them trade, what, again, another wick. Then, like I said, they barely gave it. They barely gave it, and then they still went ahead and accelerated higher. So, as of right now, April's open don't look safe. It looked like they have enough momentum to accelerate past that. But again, we are at an order block itself, like we pointed out on the other time frame. Let's look at the dollar, right? Looking at the dollar, it looks like they ready to go, right? Just because we have this buy side sitting here, we've already swept down into this order block, and it correlates with the dollar. So we might have everything we need to trade higher. So I'll keep an eye on that, where we're at New York session. Tomorrow, see what we're trading at going into New York session, because tomorrow is not a US bank holiday, and it's also not a Japanese holiday tomorrow, if y'all hear what I'm putting down, right? So we may very well get some action on UJ tomorrow. We may very well get some action on UJ, but I only want bullish positions on these guys, right? So we'll see what's going on. But yeah, that's my bias on the week. I'm not really looking for a setup particularly at this very moment, but that is my bias for the week on UJ bullish. Just wanting to pay attention to whether or not they'll give us an opportunity of them trading lower, maybe down into I'm on the hourly time frame now, right? On the hourly, you can see they already traded into this order block here, and they accelerated from it, right? Swept these lows here, right? Because here was lows, right? We already saw them sweep these lows, trade into that order block, and accelerate. That's exactly what you're looking for, guys, right? You're looking to see them drop into the order block. Ideally, if they can take a low or sweep liquidity, even better. And that's when you'll get those aggressive moves out. Okay. Now paying attention to it now, this is that next order block type of area that we can see. Also, just if you use the cheat codes and you throw your fibs on that, right in that sweet spot below the 50% equilibrium. So yeah, paying attention to what time we trade back into an area like this, right? We trade back into and what the dollar is doing at a moment like that. Everything is about correlations and confirmations. An order block doesn't matter by itself, just to be honest. An order block does not matter by itself. Liquidity does not matter by itself. Trend does not matter by itself. None of these things matter by themselves, right? That's why it's called a confirmation checklist, right? It's together, right? It's when things line up at the same time. Um, Emphasis on time. When things line up at the same time, that's when they become important for us to pay attention to. Okay, so I did US 30, I did gold, I did UJ. We're at just over the hour mark. It's 11:19 here on the East Coast. So I hope you guys got value, right? If you are new to trading, or if you're not, if I super confuse the mess out of you, then all you want to do is go ahead and go to our YouTube channel. And you can check out the market prep workshop, right? Where I kind of explain, day one, day two, day three, day four, the basics of trading, technical analysis, hopping on the charts, things of that nature. If you know anybody who needs that, feel sure to share it with them. That would help us out. And you can also feel free to actually join the Traders Guild so you can trade with us on a day-to-day basis, or just, be able to interact with the community and things of that nature. You can actually go ahead and join us, right? And I'll drop that link in the chat. But with that being said, I appreciate you guys. This was a good weekly outlook. Like I said, I'm excited for this week coming up, looking for that bullish dollar. And yeah, guys, you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll see you guys next week, Sunday, 10 p.m. Eastern. Let's get it. Safe trading, okay? Safe trading.